Hello and welcome to another episode of Cards Unbarred. My name's Ryan, and in this video I'm going to teach you Stage C of Eternal Decks designed by Hiroken. To set up for Stage C, first place the 3 stage cards in the stage card area, place the puzzle level card on the rightmost space, the puzzle area card in the middle space, and the star stage card on the leftmost space. Next, place the 9 purple star cards on top of the star stage card. The order of these cards do not matter, as players will freely look through that deck throughout the game. Next, place the 4 keys in the designated spaces on the puzzle level card. Place them in order of red, blue, green, and yellow. This way, the tokens will match the backs of the puzzle level cards themselves. Next, place the Labyrinth field card in the top row of the field card area, and place the 3 Sea Eternals in the top row of the field. You may set them up by randomly rolling the D4, or just choose C1, C2, and C3. Next, set up the puzzle cards by taking the 4 level 4 puzzle cards and shuffling them together, face down. And place 2 of them face down on the puzzle area card, 1 card on each side. The 2 remaining cards will be returned back to the box. Make sure they are unseen as they will not be used in this game. Do the same thing with the level 3 cards by shuffling them together, placing 2 cards on top of the level 4 cards, and returning the other 2 back to the box. And do the same thing with the level 2 puzzle cards by placing them on top of level 3, and then the level 1 cards on top of the level 2. In this way, there will be 2 stacks of 4 puzzle cards, the level 4s on the bottom and the level 1s on the top. Now, flip the 2 level 1s face up. While the puzzle cards are in this area, make sure the stars for their difficulty levels are always in the top left-hand corner. Puzzles must always be completed in the exact orientation that matches on the card, and the stars in the top left corner will let you know that's the correct orientation. Now set up the rest of the game as you normally would for a game of Eternal Decks, and depending on the mode that you're playing will determine which field cards will go in the middle and bottom row, as well as what cards go in the river bonus area. We'll be setting up for the standard mode, so we will set everything up according to those rules. And finally, we will place the jewels in the jewel area, the hearts in the 4th lap bonus area, and the stars on the associated spots on the board. When setting up for a 3-player game, make sure to place the 3-player jewel card over top of the board before placing the jewels down. And finally, place the camp field card in the top row of the 4th lap bonus area. And to complete player setup, have each player choose a color and take the 5 cards in the starting deck as well as the 2 communication discs. To complete Stage C, players need to go through all 4 levels of the stage cards. When a player completes a stage, they will move the key token over to the key placement area and discard the 2 level cards associated with the level they just completed. Once all players have completed all 4 levels, Stage C is completed and the players will win. Players lose the game as normal when a player cannot take an action on their turn, or the game over card is drawn from the river bonus area. When playing Stage C, the basic rules of Eternal Decks are the same except for the following. When playing cards into the top row, the field card is the Labyrinth. When playing cards into the Labyrinth row, the numbers must be symmetrically opposite of each other. This row still does follow the rules of the common placement where the same colors cannot be next to each other. So for example, if the green player plays a 2 here, the first card was a 2, so the last card also has to be a 2. Because in this row right now there are only 4 cards. This is the first card, symmetrically opposite of that would be the last one. In this case, the second and the second to last card, which is the third one, these also need to be the same number. But again, you cannot have the same colors next to each other. So if the yellow player went and they decided to play a 3 here, this next card has to be a 3, and this has to be a 2. So in this case, the colors don't need to be symmetrical, it's simply just the numbers. And because this is going to be a 3, this row breaks the rule that same numbers can't be next to each other. It will allow you to only in the situation where there are even number of cards. Because when you have an odd number of cards when completing the row, whatever goes in the middle doesn't need to be repeated. In this case, it's a 2, 3, 1. This has to be a 3, and this would have to be a 2. And if there was 6 cards, then you would be getting even longer, but these 2 would have to be the same. This has to be a 3, and that has to be a 2. To complete Stage C as mentioned, you have to complete 4 of these levels by completing the puzzle cards that are face up in front of you. It starts with level 1 and goes its way down to level 4. There are always 2 that are available face up at a time, but you only ever have to complete 1 of them. So if a player completed this one, then both of these would get removed and you'd go to the level 2 puzzles. To complete a puzzle, you have to play cards into the 3 rows of the field and make the exact color orientation match on the board. So in this case, you have to have a column of 3 yellow or a column of 3 red. So if the yellow player had played cards to look like that, this would immediately match this puzzle and the players could announce that this has been completed. One thing to mention, you must complete the puzzle the second you play the card. If players notice it on a later turn, it's too late. You have to complete the puzzle when you play the card. So be sure that everyone's paying attention once a card is played and double check to see if you did complete a puzzle or not. But once you've completed a puzzle, you'll take both cards from that level and remove them from the game. You'll then take the key token that matches the level you just completed and place it over into this key placement area. You will then flip the 2 puzzle cards face up for the next level, and these are the 2 puzzle cards you are trying to complete. In this case, a green, purple, and red in that orientation on the row. The other thing to point out, these cards don't get discarded. Whenever you complete a puzzle, they stay out there. These cards only discard when you complete a row as normal. So if you manage to get something that could then be a part of the next level's puzzle, that's great. It continues on from there. In this case, this column of yellow isn't really helping because we would need a purple and a blue or a purple and a blue. Because as I also mentioned, you have to complete them in the exact orientation as shown. You cannot rotate them or flip them however you see fit. It must be yellow, purple, blue, or green, purple, red in that exact orientation. But once you complete the level 2 puzzles, you'll take those cards off, move the key over, flip puzzle level 3s, complete the level 3s, get rid of those, move the key, complete level 4, complete that, get the key, and you win. Star bonuses are acquired in Stage C the same way they were in Stage B. Whenever a player gains a star, they will move the star over here and look through the 9 purple star cards and take any one of these cards into their hand. Whenever you play an A Eternal's ability card, it will go directly to the discard pile, and you'll also take one of these purple star cards. Otherwise, that's everything you need to know to play Stage C of Eternal Decks. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching.